Welcome everyone to the City of Quinte West Committee of Adjustment meeting. The committee is made up of 5 members. I'm the public member, Harm Zelstra. I'll be the chair this evening. And on my immediate left is public member Doug Phillips. And on his left is public member Paul Lafferty. And on the far left is Councillor Jim Ellier. David Jesse is absent this evening. He's out of the country. On my immediate right is Anne Marie Cunningham. She is the Committee of Adjustment Coordinator. And on her right is Kelly West. She is the Manager of Planning Services. Because this is a hearing under the Planning Act, when the committee gets to the applications for consideration, each application will be brought up in the order listed on the agenda with an opportunity for public input given prior to discussion and consideration by the committee. If you wish to make a comment, please raise your hand to be recognized by the chair. Consent decisions made tonight will have a last day of appeal of July the 3rd, 2025, and minor variance decisions made tonight will have a last day of appeal of July the 2nd, 2025. If anyone wishes to receive a copy of one of the notices of decision, please use the pad of paper provided by the sign-in sheet to indicate your name, mailing address, or email address and which decision you would like a copy of, and it will be sent to you. If anyone has not signed in on the sign-in sheet, please do so, as this is used for the minutes of the meeting. Do I have any disclosures of pecuniary interest?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to declare a conflict with application B25/25M.
Okay, sir.
I've submitted the declaration of interest form. So.
Great, thank you.
If I could ask, could you indicate the nature of the pecuniary interest for the minutes?
Yes, I'm a part-time employee for the applicant, Dave McHugh.
Thank you. It's the general nature of their
Any other disclosures? None? No. Could I have approval of the agenda for this evening? Moved by Doug, seconded by Paul. All in favor? Carried. And approval of the minutes of May the 8th, 2025.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Moved by Jim, seconded by Paul. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. First application is consent application B22-25M. The owner is Bradley and Sherry Countryman. Keith Watson of Watson Land Surveyors is the agent. Legal description is Part Lot 20, Concession 3. The address is 209 Shriver Road in Murray Ward. And the purpose of the application is to sever a parcel of land which would create one new vacant lot. The severed parcel would have a frontage of 45 meters, a depth of 91.4 meters, a total area of 0.41 hectares. And the retained would have a frontage of 136.1 meters, a depth of 91.4 meters, and total area of 1.24 hectares. Any comments or concerns?
Can I make one comment on that? If I could, Mr. Chair, staff would like to recommend a slight amendment to the condition regarding the lot grading and drainage plan on this application. We'd like to add an indication that it's for a building envelope in accordance with the zoning bylaw setbacks, just to narrow down the scope of the work to be done by the engineer. And I've given you an amended wording there.
Yep. Any comments or concerns from the public? Yes. Jennifer, right?
Yes. Good
Evening. Jennifer Matthews from Watson Land Surveyors. We agree with the amended wording. I just now noticed, I think condition 6, there may be a correction there as well. The condition reads that the applicant apply for and subsequently obtain an approved access entrance permit for the retained lands. I think that maybe should be the severed lands.
Severed lands, yeah.
Public Works. It must have been John. Yeah, Public Works here.
Right.
That is the wording that was in the Works memo, so I will confirm it with them tomorrow and make that change. So just read it out as the severed lands are fine.
Severed lands, yeah.
Yes. And then I'll get that confirmed with Public Works. If there's any change, I'll go back to you.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments or concerns from the public? Hearing none. Any comments or concerns from the committee members?
I'll move the recommendation, Mr. Chair.
Moved by Jim, second by Doug. That application B 22-25M by Bradley and Sherry Countryman, Keith Watson, Watson Land Surveyors Agent, to sever a parcel of land at 209 Shriver Road, Part Lot 20, Concession 3, in the former township of Murray is hereby approved, subject to the following conditions. One, that a registered survey for the subject parcel be submitted to the city. Two, that a draft transfer for the severed parcel be submitted to the city. Three, that the tax account for the subject property be paid up to date. Four, that parcels of land measuring 10 meters from the center line of the road along the frontage of the severed and retained lands along Shriver Road be conveyed for road widening purposes to the city at no cost to the satisfaction of Public Works. 5, that a lot grading and drainage plan showing a building envelope based on the required setbacks of the zoning bylaw prepared by a professional engineer be submitted to the satisfaction of the city and the applicant enter into an agreement with the city written and registered on title by the city solicitor at the applicant's cost, addressing the owner's obligation to notify any purchaser of the requirement to comply with the approved lot grading drainage plan. And 6, that the applicant apply for and subsequently obtain an approved access entrance permit for the severed lands and install new entrance to the satisfaction of Public Works.
You might just want to quickly ask if the owner wants to make any comment.
Okay. We have Sherry Countryman is on the virtual screen there, if she has any comments or concerns. I guess everything's okay. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Next application is consent application B 23-25S. Leon Collins Trucking Limited is the owner. Keith Watson, Watson Land Surveyors is the agent. Legal description is lot 71 and 115. Registrar's compiled plan. Some more initials here, RCP 2129. And the address is 801 Old Highway 2 in Sydney Ward. And the purpose of the application is to sever a parcel of land which would create one new developed lot. These lots were previously separate but have merged on title under the Planning Act. The severed would have a frontage of 31.3 meters, a depth of 294.3 meters, and an area of 1.2 hectares. And the retained would have a frontage of 109 meters, a depth of 726.2 meters, and total area of 24.2 hectares. Any comments or concerns from the public regarding this application? Hearing none. Any comments or concerns from the committee?
Other than that's my friendly merging thing again, that should never have happened, but anyway, it has, and unfortunately. But I will move the recommendation.
Moved by Jim, seconded by Paul. That application B 23-25S by Leon Collins Trucking Limited, Keith Watson and Watson Land Surveyors Agent, to sever a parcel of land at 801 Old Highway 2, lots 71 and 115 RCP 2129 in the former township of Sydney is hereby approved, subject to the following conditions. One, that a registered survey for the severed parcel be submitted to the city. Two, that a draft transfer for the severed parcel be submitted to the city. Three, that the tax account for the subject property be paid up to date. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Next application is consent application B 24-25M. The owner is Janice M. Colasante. Description is part lot 22, concession C. Address is 371 Stony Point Road in Murray Ward. And the purpose of the application is to sever a parcel of land which would create one new vacant lot. The severed parcel would have a frontage of 60.96 meters, a depth of 135.34 meters, an area of 0.83 hectares, and the retained would have a frontage of 72.49 meters, a depth of 135.34 meters, and total area of 0.98 hectares. Any comments or concerns from the public regarding this application? Hearing none. Are the owners here, by the way? Okay. Any questions or concerns from the committee members?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Moved by Doug, seconded by Jim. That application B 24-25M by Janice M. Colasante to sever a parcel of land at 371 Stony Point Road, part lot 22, concession C, in the former township of Murray is hereby approved, subject to the following conditions. One, that a registered survey for the severed parcel be submitted to the city. Two, that a draft transfer for the severed parcel be submitted to the city. Three, that the tax account for the subject property be paid up to date. Four, that a parcel of land or parcels of land measuring 10 meters from the center line of the road along the frontage of the severed and retained lands along Stony Point Road South be conveyed for road widening purposes to the city at no cost to the satisfaction of Public Works. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Next application is consent application B 25-25M. The owner is David and Margaret McHugh. The legal description is part lot 8, concession C. The address is 48 Ellier Road in Murray Ward. And the purpose of the application is to sever a parcel of land which would create one new vacant lot. Severed parcel would have a frontage of 45 meters, a depth of 135 meters, and a total area of 0.61 hectares. The retained would have a frontage of 353.2 meters with an irregular depth and total area of 10.4 hectares. Any comments or concerns from the public regarding this application? Hearing none. Committee members, this is the one we usually turn down. Is number 5?
Well, there's a vast list of things I think we could come up with. I had trouble finding it, but anyway.
We had more trouble finding the other one.
Any questions or concerns from the committee?
I'll move the recommendation, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Second it, Doug. That application B 25-25M by David and Margaret McHugh to sever a parcel of land at 48 Allier Road, Part Lot 8, Concession C, in the former township of Murray is hereby approved, subject to the following conditions. One, that a registered survey for the severed parcel be submitted to the city. Two, that draft transfer for the severed parcel be submitted to the city. Three, that the tax account for the subject property be paid up to date. And four, that parcels of land measuring 10 meters from the center line of the road along the frontage of the severed and retained lands along Allier Road be conveyed for road widening purposes to the city at no cost to the satisfaction of Public Works. And five, that a zoning bylaw amendment be in effect for the severed lands pursuant to the Planning Act. All in favor? Carried. Thank you.
Who's going to get Paul?
Yeah.
King.
Okay, next application is consent application B 26-25S. The owner is DeWall Homes and Construction Limited. The agent is Greg King. Legal description is Part Lot 2, Concession 3. The address is 805 Glen Miller Road in Sydney Ward. And the purpose of the application is to sever a parcel of land which would create one new vacant lot. The severed portion would have a frontage of 103 meters, a depth of 158.81 meters, and a total area of 1.66 hectares. The retained would have a frontage of 86 meters, a depth of 164.3 meters, and total area of 2.27 hectares. Any comments or concerns from the public regarding this application? Hearing none. Committee members have any questions for Mr. King?
Give him an easy.
Okay.
Next one, maybe.
So did you make a motion?
I can do that if you wish.
Oh, I didn't know.
Moved by Jim, seconded by Doug.
Yeah.
That application B 26-25S by DeWall Homes and Construction Limited, Greg King agent, to sever a parcel of land at 805 Glen Miller Road, Part Lot 2, Concession 3 in the former township of Sydney is hereby approved, subject to the following conditions. One, that a registered survey for the severed parcel be submitted to the city. Two, that a draft transfer for the severed parcel be submitted to the city. Three, that the tax account for the subject property be paid up to date. Four, that a zoning bylaw amendment be in effect for the severed and retained lands pursuant to the Planning Act. And five, that the applicant provide a concept plan prepared by an Ontario land surveyor demonstrating a minimum 0.5 hectare building envelope outside the MDS setback and the hazard area is available on both the proposed severed and retained lots to the satisfaction of the city and Lower Trent Conservation. Six, that a parcel of land or parcels of land measuring 13 meters from the center line of the road along the frontage of the severed and retained lands along Glen Miller Road be conveyed for road widening purposes to the city at no cost to the satisfaction of Public Works. Seven, that a lot grading and drainage plan prepared by a professional engineer be submitted to the satisfaction of the city and the applicant enter into an agreement with the city written and registered on title by the city solicitor at the applicant's cost, addressing the owner's obligation to notify any purchaser of the requirement to comply with the approved lot grading and drainage plan. And that Section 51 restricted land use notice be obtained pursuant to the Clean Water Act. You familiar with all these conditions? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Next application is consent application B 27-25S. The owner is Isaac William DeWall. Greg King is the agent. Legal description is part lot 1 and 2, concession 8. The address is 470 Deer Run Road in Sydney Ward. And the purpose of the application is to sever a parcel of land which would create one new vacant lot. Severed portion would have a frontage of 45 meters, a depth of 90 meters, and total area of 0.4 hectares. And the retained would have a frontage of 115.29 meters, a depth of 1,136.5 meters, and total area of 77.1 hectares. Any comments or concerns from the public regarding this application? Hearing none. Any comments or concerns from the committee members?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, moved by Doug, seconded by Paul. That application B 27-25 by Isaac William DeWall, Greg King, agent, to sever a parcel of land at 470 Deer Run Road, part lot 2, concession 8, in the former Township of Sydney is hereby approved, subject to the following conditions. 1, that a registered survey for the severed parcel be submitted to the city. 2, that a draft transfer for the severed parcel be submitted to the city. 3, that the tax account for the subject property be paid up to date. 4, that a zoning bylaw amendment be in effect for the severed lands pursuant to the Planning Act. And 5, that parcels of land measuring 10 meters from the center line of the road along the frontage of the severed and retained lands along Deer Run Road be conveyed for road widening purposes to the city at no cost to the satisfaction of public works. All in favor? Carried. I must say that is a very isolated area there. It certainly is private. Yeah.
It is.
And hard to find, by the way. Next application is consent application B 28-25M. The owner is Kim Paul DeFosse and Wilhelmina Stewart. Legal description is part lot 17, concession 5. The address is 176 Teal Road.
You only need to read the purpose, you don't need to read the background.
Huh?
You just need to read the purpose, not the background. Last time you read the background.
No background? Just the purpose.
It's really loud, yeah. It's really long, you don't need it.
Oh, okay. Good thing you stopped me before I started.
I know.
Consent application B 11-25M was approved by the Committee of Adjustment on March 13, 2025, to add a lot addition to the subject property at 176 Teal Road. The property at 176 Teal Road was created through consent application B3-00M. Therefore, the lot addition lands of the application B 11-25M would not automatically merge with subject property. An application has therefore been submitted for a certificate of cancellation. Any questions or concerns from the public regarding this application? Hearing none. Any concerns from the committee members?
I'll move the recommendation, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, moved by Jim, second by Doug. That application B 28-25M by Kim Paul DeFosse and Wilhelmina Stewart, granting a certificate of cancellation for consent application B-00M at 176 Teal Road, Park Lot 17, Concession 5 in the former Township of Murray is hereby approved. All in favor? Carried.
I'm sorry, who was the mover and seconder? Who was the mover and seconder? I didn't-
Jim first and Doug, right? Yeah.
Sorry. My boss asked me a question.
Yes. So when you get interrupted, your train of thought goes all. Yeah, okay. Next application is minor variance application A 5-25M. The owners are Christine and David Bell. Legal description is part lot 2, concession 3. The address is 174 Lock Road in Murray Ward. And the purpose of the application is to permit the proposed shed in the exterior side yard with a minimum setback of 3.84 meters. And the bylaw calls for 7.5 meters, so. Any comments or concerns from the public? Is this your application, ma'am? Okay. Sir? Any comments or concerns from the committee members? Have a mover and seconder. Moved by Paul, seconded by Jim. That application A 5-25M by Christine and David Bell at 174 Lock Road, Part Lot 2, Concession 3 in the former Township of Murray is hereby approved to permit the proposed shed in the exterior side yard with a minimum setback of 3.84 meters. And one condition is that that Section 59 restricted land use notice be obtained pursuant to the Clean Water Act. Are you familiar with that?
Oh, did you? Okay, I didn't have a copy from Public Works. Okay, if you could just forward it through to me if you have a response. Okay, all right, okay, all right, I'll check with Public Works. Oh, okay, all right, I'll just check with them and make sure it's been processed. Okay, yeah, it should be fine, they're pretty, pretty simple. Yeah.
Okay, all in favor? Carried. Thank you. Last application is a request for waiver of fees between 162 and 178 Left Road for Habitat for Humanity. Some background here. Habitat for Humanity has recently purchased the vacant land between 162 and 178 Lester Road with the intent to build 2 semi-detached dwellings resulting in 4 units and will be applying for consents and minor variances for each property. The current fee for each consent application is $2,584 and for each minor variance application is $1,070. They have made a request for the Committee of Adjustment to waive the application fees required in the total amount of $7,308. Any comments or concerns from the public regarding this application? The city adopted a bylaw 14-123, being a bylaw to adopt a fee waiver policy on September the 15th, 2014, where Habitat for Humanity is expressly listed as being exempt from paying permit fees only. The total amount of fees requested to be waived is $7,308, which is a combination of 2 applications for consent costing $2,584 each, and 2 minor variance applications of $1,070 each. So the city has already basically did our job for us on this application. I guess it's still the Planning Act that requires us to go through this?
Yeah, because they only exempted them, sorry. The bylaw only exempts them from the building permit fees. There's also an exemption to development charges under the development charge bylaw, but it does not exempt them from the application fees. Under the
Okay.
Planning Act, the committee does have the authority to waive application fees. So that's why it's being brought forward to the committee tonight. The applications are proposed to come to the July meeting,
Yeah, okay.
okay?
So,
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to support the waiver of the fees. We're in need of housing, and certainly Habitat Humanity, they have a great program for people that have trouble affording a home, but the people still have to pay for the home. I'm sure Chris could fill you in on the information there on it, but this is somewhat unique, I guess, in the sense that there's extra charges here this time. Normally, the city looks after all the hookups, whatever, and in the past, we've donated land too. But anyway, I'll move it and see where it goes, sir.
okay, moved by Jim, second by Doug. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Any other business to come before this committee? I have a motion to adjourn. Moved by Jim, seconded by Paul. We're not in favor.
You need to ask.
We do have one minor variance that I
Yeah.
need